Mic check. So let's talk about. I was right about Cornell West. I said this way before anybody. Before Cornell West went on Jimmy Dore, I said Cornell. I basically was like Cornell West is a fucking joke. He's a clown, right? I was like, he's a waste of time. And then he does the interview on Jimmy Dore, and then Jimmy Dore exposes him for being a control opposition, sellout, bootleg, just the clown that he is, being out of touch. He's out of touch and he's a clown. Like most Negroes. Most Negroes in America are out of touch with reality. And that's why they like people like Barack Obama, Cornell West, Mark Lamont Hill. They like these type of people and they think that they're heroes, right? They're heroes when they really zeros. You know what I mean? And so, it's easy to spot people motherfuckers like Cornell West, right? And people like Mark Lamont Hill. Because they do it in public. So, the only way they can get away with it is if you just ignore it, right? You just say, well, like vote blue no matter who. I'm with these people. I'm with I don't care what they do to me, how abusive they are, whatever, whatever. I'm just with them, right? Okay, if you got that attitude, then they can do whatever, right? But if you kind of got some intelligence and some backbone, you're like, yeah, listen, I don't want to be associated with anybody like this. Now, speaking of Cornell West, right? If you've been sleeping under a rock, Cornell West is running for president, right? So he's running for president, right? They said they fear Cornell West. Democrats don't fear Cornell West, right? Democrat, I'm gonna show you like why this shit is propaganda, right? Democrats do not fear or care about Cornell West at all. It's all a dog and pony show. Cornell West is controlled opposition. He's just like Bernie Sanders. Cornell West is a cuck. You know what I'm saying? It's real easy to tell. You say, well, why is that? Well, right after he went on Jimmy Dore, he hired this guy as his campaign manager, right? And you said, who is this guy? This guy named Dow, right? He used to work for Hillary Clinton. He's a Democrat operative. But more than that, let's talk about this type of shit he's done. He's an Arab. So let's just peg him. You know what I mean? Like, let's go down the list, right? So that, man, and check all the boxes on who this guy is. So he's an Arab named Dow. I believe he's from Lebanon, right? And how did he wind up in the United States? That's an interesting story. So this guy who worked for Hillary Clinton and a bunch of other Democrat operatives, he started out. He's an Arab from he I guess lived over there on the Lebanese Israeli border in that area. And long story, I'm trying to make a long story short. He was working with a Lebanese militia group who was aligned with the Israelis, right? Which doesn't make sense if you're an Arab person. If I shouldn't have to explain that story to you. I'll kind of give you a brief synopsis, right? So we all know that the so-called Jewish people, right? The Euro Jew went into that area, basically, occupied that land, carved out the state of Israel in 1947. Fast forward, right? And so there was wars between the Arabs and the Euro Jew, right? And so, but this group of Lebanese Arabs was aligned with the Euro Jews, right? With the Zionists, in other words, right? They were the Jewish people, the Zionists. They were aligned with them. Most Arabs are not aligned with, with white Jewish Zionists, right? And in case you've been living under a rock, right? So, but this group that he was involved with were this Arab militia group, right? And so I guess they was taking money from Israel to do dirty work for the Israelis. What was the dirty work? Well, a bunch of Arabs who had been chased by the Euro Jew out of Palestine, Israel, across the border, and were living in a refugee camp. Him and his buddies and his militia and his Lebanese Arab militia group, at the behest of the Israelis, went into the camp and massacred the people in the camp. Started massacring the Arabs. So here's a sellout Arab. He sold out he sold out his own Arab people for a bunch of Euro Jews, right? And then starts killing innocent people at their behest, massacring. He committed a massacre. He was part of a militia group. His group, they were massacring his own people, albeit not Lebanese Arabs, but Palestinian Arabs, right? So they hire them, the Israelis, I guess, security services give these guys money and they on their payroll. They put a battery in their back. They go in and start massacring for, at the behest of these Israelis, these unarmed people, his own people, technically, right? I told you, never trust. That's why I don't trust Negroes in America. I just said it. Never trust these people, these sellouts, man. They'll do anything. They'll sell their mother. They'll sell their father. These motherfuckers will sell anybody out. And they'll do anything and look the other way. So anyway, this guy who worked for Hillary Clinton, who had massacred innocent men, women, and unarmed men, women, and children, Palestinians, in a Lebanese refugee camp, he winds up somehow in the United States working for Hillary Clinton. Now, guess who he works for? Guess whose campaign he is heading up? Well, that would be Cornell West, right? That would be Cornell West. Wow, Mr. Social Justice Warrior. So Mr. Social Justice Warrior Cornell West, Mr. Pro-black, anti-white supremacist, right? So supposedly, allegedly, right? Mr. Human Rights, Mr. Israel Palestine, goes and hires an Arab sellout who was massacring innocent men, women, and children at the behest of the Israeli security forces. This is the head. That's who head is. That is the head of his campaign. That's the head of Cornell West's campaign. That's his campaign manager. And the guy Jimmy Dore pointed this out, and people started saying Jimmy Dore was a racist. What? Cornell West tried to act like he had an attitude. He was upset. Hey man, don't be, talking to me like that, man. Dude, are you serious? Or are you a bad B actor? Are you serious? You just hired an Arab sellout, but you a black sellout. See, so it makes sense. Sellouts stick together. Birds of a feather flock together. A bunch of backstabbing, no good sellouts, right? And bootlicks, well, they stick together, right? I'm coming to, you know who I'm coming to? I'm coming to this guy, Mark Lamont Hill, in a second. But let's go back to Cornell West, speaking of sellouts that stick together. So he's screaming white supremacists, he's screaming racist, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? And then he goes and hires basically an Arab militia member who was working for the Israeli government and massacring other Arabs at their behest. That's who he goes and hires. But he says he's fighting for Palestinian rights, and he's fighting for human rights, and he's fighting white supremacists. Excuse me, Mr. West, I don't know if you know this. Oh, you got a degree. I know. You're a doctor. You got a degree. You fighting white supremacy. Somehow you don't know that the Israelis are an apartheid state per Human Rights Watch. You don't know that? So if they are an apartheid state, and your campaign manager was working for them, massacring his own people, Arabs, how does that make you a social justice warrior, sir? Make that shit make sense. How does that make you some type of social justice warrior if you have a man heading up your campaign who was part of a bloody massacre that killed innocent, unarmed people in a refugee camp? And work for an apartheid state regime, right? That oppresses blacks and Arabs in Israel, right? Make Make it make sense. Or you just see you just hustling. I understand. Everybody got to hustle. Cornell West, Barack Obama, Mark Lamont Hill selling his books. They selling books, right? They selling TV shows, Netflix specials. They selling hopium, hope and change that you could believe in. Cornell West gonna sell niggas some more hope and change they could believe in. While closing 50 schools in Chicago, Obama's hometown, he sold niggas hope and change they could believe in. It's insanity. It's pure insanity. Virtue, as Jamiroquai said in the song, virtual insanity. But you're supposed to believe that Cornell West is credible, right? But he has a man working for him who massacred his own people at the behest of some white supremacists. Make it make sense. This is a horrible man that works for him. If I did that, right, I'd be in prison, right? I'd be, you'd be on a no-fly list, you'd be in prison, or you'd be dead, somebody would have shot you, whatever, right? But this man does it, this Arab man, right? Somehow he ends up in the United States working for Hillary Clinton. What? Working for the Clintons and Obamas and all these people. He's hanging out with all these people. What about the massacre? I don't worry about that. Sometimes you gotta massacre people, right? Sometimes you gotta sell out your own people and massacre them, right? To make a living. It's, come on, man. Stop being so hard on people, right? You're being mean. Cornell West is a nice guy. Just because he hangs out with somebody that massacres men, women, and children in refugee camps, right, doesn't make him a bad person. He's a social justice. He's fighting for gays and trans and all that kind of stuff. And sometimes black people. So he says. I guess that's what he's doing. Maybe he's doing something else. You see. So let's go over to Mark. Mark Lamont Hill severs ties with liberal pundit after controversial remarks on Israel. Oh, you notice the strain through the story I'm telling here, right? This guy who worked for the Israeli, a Lebanese Arab sellout traitor who killed Arabs at the behest of the Israeli government, right? Who now works for Cornell West. Now we come to Mark Lamont Hill, who got fired for saying they said they didn't like what he said about Israel. He was talking about the Palestinians, but they didn't like what he said in reference to Israel, so they fired him from his job at CNN and tried to get him fired from his job as a college professor. Right? Who did it? The ADL, which is a so-called Jewish, Israeli organization, right? Human rights, I guess, organization. Right, but I'm sure they didn't condemn this guy. The ADL, they didn't have nothing to say about this guy who was massacring them Arabs for them Israelis, right? But let's go back to Mark Lamont Hill. Let's try to, stay on point. So now, fast forward, Mark Lamont Hill, right, gets fired by these people because he tried to play social justice warrior and so he could sell books and put on T-shirts that say freedom and kente cloth. All this bullshit, all this fake, this shit is a joke to these people, right? All this, they try to do the civil rights hustle, right? But we all know what happens in the real civil rights game. You see what I'm saying? If you look at King X, Medgar Evers, that's the real struggle. This is Disneyland. This shit is La La Land, right? So Mark Lamont Hill tried to play that game. They fired his ass. Right? Now what is Mark Lamont Hill doing? I'm fighting our open enemies. Black author Mark Lamont Hill catches heat for defending the ADL against Elon Musk, and he fends off criticism. Author and academic Hill goes against Musk for threatening to sue the ADL for generating awareness about hate speech, right? Now mind you, he's defending people that got him fired from his job. Why would you be doing that? I know I wouldn't. I got some people on my job, right now on one of my jobs. I call it a job. They don't like me, and I don't like them, and I would never defend them. I keep it professional, but I don't fuck with them. If something was to happen, I wouldn't piss on them if they was on fire. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's like good morning, good night. Sure, I'll take care of whatever you need, but I wouldn't piss on their ass if they was on fire. Cause I know how they are. They did some foul shit, right? They do like foul shit to you, you know, when you black, right? Tacky, trashy, terroristic, right? And so, but Mark Lamont Hill is defending these people. They got him fired from his job, and they've been hounding him, you know, called him a racist, anti-Semite, you know. But now he's defending them. He works for them now as their mouthpiece against Elon Musk. Elon Musk a racist. Now he might be, right? But I guess you said, well, I'll work for the racist ADL against the racist Elon Musk. So niggers is selling out all, ninjas is selling out all across the board, right? Just find a racist and just start working for them, and just start calling another racist racist. I mean, it's so confusing you can't even keep track on which side these people are playing on. I understand. Like when people tell me they like Obama, or they like Mark Lamont Hill, or they like Cornell West, or they like, you know, this person or Donald Trump or whatever, I can dig it. It's confusing to try to figure out which side people are playing on. Or anybody, people in your life. This person's cool, that person's cool. You know, I can dig it. Maybe it's just hard for you to keep, you know, call balls and strikes and keep track of everything. Because the shit is confusing. But that's the key, right? The Bible says the devil is the author of confusion. Satan, the Antichrist, is the author of confusion. You see? That's why you got an Arab sellout who helped massacre men, women, and children in a refugee camp, working for the Israeli Zionist government, now working for Cornell West, heading up his campaign on the same side as Mark Lamont Hill, right? Who is now defending defending the same people that had him fired from his job and going after Elon Musk. He's being their lapdog, their attack dog now, and attacking Elon Musk for the ADL who had him fired from his job. And he says he's fighting open enemies of who? He's on the side of the ADL fighting open enemies. So he's saying what? Elon Musk is our open enemies. Who is our? Does he mean the ADL and him as a spokesperson for the ADL? You know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to figure out what you're talking about, Mark Lamont Hill. Right? What the fuck is he talking about? Like, it doesn't make sense. You see? These people are all over the place. They're trying to confuse you, right? Mark Lamont Hill, this moist ninja is trying to confuse you while taking, I guess his slice of the devil's pie, right? He wants back on CNN, so he can, he like making $100,000 or $150,000 doing commentary and selling books, and they like all that bullshit. Making a couple $100,000, giving speeches for, $20,000 and dumb shit like that. Talking about social justice, right? While working for an apartheid state actor, the ADL, right? And being used as their tool to attack Elon Musk. Why? Because why are they attacking Elon Musk? It goes deep. You see, this is deep. This game is deep, and it's getting ready to get hot, right? They're attacking Musk because he didn't want to let them use his Starlink network, satellite internet network, to run operations against the Russians. He said no, because the operations they was going to start running, he felt like it was going to start World War III, so he was trying to just stay out of it and then also slow that shit down. So what happens? Now Musk has been branded a racist. Is he? Probably. But no one cared. The other races didn't give a fuck. You see, the other races, whatever, didn't care until he didn't play ball with them. You can do all the racism you want, right? You can fuck as many Negroes, Arabs, anybody you want, Indians, anybody over that you want. as long as you know playing ball with us. The minute you don't play ball with us, right? And so Musk got scared. Elon Musk got scared. He's like, fuck this, right? I can't build Teslas in nuclear fire. If my Tesla plant get nuked, well, I can't make $1 billion. I can't shoot rockets into space. I can't go to Mars. So maybe I should just try to like get out of this whole deal with this, you know, doing strikes on the Russians. And when he did, well, the devil, they didn't like that. So now, Elon Musk, you gotta pay. We gotta take you down. And who we gonna get to do it? Oh, we'll get Mark Lamont Hill to help us. He's our spokesperson now. The same guy we got fired from his job. We'll use him. He'll do it. Why? He wants to do us favors so that he can get back. We'll put him back on CNN. He can start getting that money from CNN again. Right? So he can, you know, at the end of, oh, Mark, you got a new book out. Yeah, my new book is, you know, I'm a social justice warrior. I'm fighting white supremacy. You can buy it now on Amazon. All right, Mark, thanks for coming on. All right, thanks. See you next time. Okay. So he can promote his book, you know, come on there, do propaganda for, you know, white supremacists that he's the same white supremacists that he says he's fighting, right? His open enemies. He's fighting our open enemies. Who is our Mark Lamont Hill? Who is our enemies? You see? Who is our enemies, Mark Lamont Hill? You'll never tell. That's for sure. Not again. You'll never open your mouth again. Now back, I'm gonna just rap on Cornell West. And they're all on the same team. So you got Mark Lamont Hill. Look, this is the team. This is your social justice team. Mark Lamont Hill, who works for the same people that fired him, and the Democrats and all of that, right? Cornell West, his boy, I guess. He's probably back in Cornell West, right? You don't see, it doesn't, you're not connecting the dots? Who's social justice warrior, you know, black, trans, you know, for some reason, you know, he can't stop saying trans, homos, you know, whatever, then he'll say white supremacists. He all over the place, right? And then on his team, you got an Arab, right? This Arab militia member turned Democrat operative who's now and working for that so-called Green Party independence for Cornell West, who supported Joe Biden in the last election. Cornell West supported Joe Biden. Wait a minute, Mr. Social Justice Warrior. You do know who Joe Biden is, don't you? You do know Joe Biden supported Jim Crow, all kinds of heinous shit against black people. But Negroes support him in all anytime Joe Biden show up, Negroes is there to vote for him. And they don't even get anything. At least if you're going to vote for a racist old white man, you should make him give you something. Cut the check. Y'all don't even want anything. Y'all voting for people and arguing about people who is screwing you over, that screwed over your mother, your grandmother, your great-grandmother, and every goddamn body else. Right? And then you join in and get led by some Arab militiaman who was murdering people in a refugee camp, right? Well, we know he's a moral authority, right? He's hanging out with Cornell West, running his campaign now. They're going to get you on the right track, right? Cornell West and this guy are going to get your mind right. They're going to help you get justice in America. Really? If this guy didn't get, if he didn't get justice in an Arab refugee camp in Israel, right? How the fuck is he going to help get black people get justice in America? How is he going to help Cornell West get justice or do anything? You know what I mean? Like, what? It doesn't make sense. Mark Lamont Hill's not fighting for justice. He's fighting for a raise, an increase in revenue and salary and money. He's trying to get rich off of the backs of poor black people, just like Obama. You see, they all in the same camp. Obama, Mark Lamont Hill, right? Cornell West, right? They all together with Joe Biden, right? And Hillary Clinton, they all together, right? With all these heinous people hanging around, getting large salaries, you see? Making $100,000 a year, $200,000, and willing to kill anybody to do it. Right? Look harmless, willing to kill anybody to do it. Men, women, children, refugees. That's who that guy is, right? But he's leading the presidential campaign for Cornell West. He's his campaign manager, right? And if you asked about it, Cornell West would get upset with you, call you a racist, right? Or say you're not credible. Who are you to question me? I'm Dr. Cornell West. Look at my college degree. Look at my college degrees. Look at my doctorates. I claim to be a Christian. Hey, Cornell West, let me give you a quick lesson on the Bible, Mr. Christian. The Bible says that homosexuality is an abomination, right? You also married to a white woman, ain't you? I'm just saying, this is not me. Don't strike my channel. I'm just pointing out, what the Bible says. The Bible says homosexuality is an abomination. It's against Christianity. The Bible is also against race mixing. You're married to a white woman. I'm just saying, right? Don't get mad at me. I'm not saying that. That's what the Bible says. So you claim to be a Christian, a theologian, or whatever. How come you don't follow any of that stuff in the Bible? Because you're a hack. Your fake social justice warrior hustle got exposed by Jimmy Dore. You people are trying to do respectability politics, right? But that's not what it is. You're not respectable. What you're really doing is selling out. You running like scams. You a race hustler, and you hustling poor black people that need help in America. And instead of getting them help, all you doing is running political scams for yourself so that you can make money off of them, like people like Barack Obama. So you could build a house on a beach in Hawaii or in Martha's Vineyards, right? While 30 million black people in America, they suffering, and the only thing you can tell them about, well, I'm gonna pass gay marriage. Okay, good job, Obama. I'm sure they'll be better off in 5 years, because of gay marriage. I guess if all black people decide to become gay and get married, that'll be something, they could use. This shit is a nightmare, man. I'm gone, man. I can't. You know what I'm saying? I'm done. That's all I got.